Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. It is Friday, February 14th, 2020. Just waiting a second for everybody to pile on in if they are going to pile on in. Wouldn't be surprised if many people decided to just chalk it up and call it a day. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Day. Hey, Doug. Hey, guys. I know it's Friday. I'd never go live on Friday evening. I try to turn it off occasionally. But today, we're going to have to talk. Just ignore that stuff. Okay. So, like many of you, when the news came today from the now gallivanting all over television, Andrew McCabe from the DOJ saying that Andrew McCabe is not going to be facing charges for lying to the IG and the INSD at the FBI about his leaks to the Wall Street Journal, I was ridiculously infuriated because to me, it's like, how do you put an Andrew McCabe declination against what they're doing to General Flynn? And it is disgustingly infuriating, and it's demoralizing, and it's horrible, and it makes you angry. Like, at least me. It made me very angry, and it's just unfair. So let me just walk through what happened, and then we'll get into some of the possibilities and what's going on. I'm not one of those people that's going to sell you some sort of a, fairy tale about the future, but I am going to break down what probably happened here and explain some of the possibilities. So I covered this extensively. As a matter of fact, up until yesterday, my pinned tweet was about what I found in that IG report on Andrew McCabe in regards to the New York field office of the FBI. And that IG report was 60-something pages long. It came out a few years ago. And it broke down a leak that Andrew McCabe made to the Wall Street Journal, Devlin Barrett at the Wall Street Journal, about the Hillary Clinton email investigation. And the INSD, the Internal Inspection Division of the FBI, was investigating how the Wall Street Journal got the information they got, which was a quote from Andrew McCabe that basically stated, you're telling me there was supposedly direction from the Justice Department to the FBI to stop investigating Hillary Clinton. And McCabe wanted to get it out there in the ether that he was not going to stop the investigation because of political pressure. So he leaked to the reporter that sentiment. And this is just very basic, breaking it down. When the INSD was investigating, he lied to the INSD. Not only did he lie to the INSD, he also pinned the leaks on the New York field office of the FBI. And the INSD realized they wouldn't be able to continue investigating Andrew McCabe. So they passed it to the IG. And the IG took that on and then did an investigation into these leaks. And McCabe lied to the IG 4 times under oath. Then the IG referred that over to the Justice Department. The Justice Department pursued it. They actually they seated a grand jury in the case. The grand jury was let go. Then they reseated them again later on. And Andrew McCabe's attorneys were filing complaints saying, you guys need to make a decision. And the judge in another case said that they needed to make a decision. And they didn't make any decision and kind of left it out there in limbo, hanging out there until today. And when you read the letter, it states that means there will be no charges brought against your client stemming from the IG report detailing the leaks to the Wall Street Journal. Okay. Now, I was like, okay, how in God's name can this Justice Department not prosecute Andrew McCabe for this? So when this started happening, everybody was saying, oh, don't worry. Why would they charge him on this when they can get him on something bigger? And then why would, don't worry about it. Durham is investigating. Putting all that aside, there's no excuse for not charging somebody who lies to the FBI and to the Inspector General under oath, not once, not 2 times, not 3 times, but 4 times. There's no excuse for it. It is absolutely not the same thing as what happened with Comey. They declined to prosecute or bring charges against Comey. They didn't even look into Comey. They said, this isn't a case that we can pursue. There's nothing that we can do here. There are reasons why that was a valid decision. I defended that decision at the time. And the reasons why were because of the way Comey handled the classification process on those memos. Completely understood that. It is not the same thing as this. It's just not the same thing. He didn't even say that he didn't lie. Like, he didn't fight the fact that he lied. Like, it was cut and dry. So everybody was saying, like, they'll never charge McCabe with this when they can get him with something bigger, but that's nonsense. Actually, I spoke to a couple of U.S. attorneys, former and current, who said the opposite. If they can get you on these charges, they'll get you on them. They'll put as many as they possibly can in there and then roll them up. So that theory is out the window, in my opinion. However, there was something else that came out that makes much more sense. And while it is not something to be happy about by any stretch of the imagination, it at least gives us a better window into what's going on at the Justice Department. Because before I read this and understood it, I was really infuriated that we were going to have to take, escalated action in terms of activism to be able to affect any change here. And we should be doing that anyway, in my opinion, but we'll leave that aside. What I learned is that the grand jury in this case wouldn't indict McCabe. Now, when you bring charges in front of a grand jury, and then you bring charges in front of the grand jury again, and then you bring charges in front of the grand jury again, and each and every single time you bring those charges in front of this grand jury, 26 people, however many people it is, and they decline to issue an indictment for the charges you're bringing forth, you don't have a recourse. That's the way the system works in here. As a matter of fact, see if I can find it. I don't want 6 months ago. Bear with me a second. Hold on. I want to show you guys so that you see it. Oops. Lawfare, best place to find information like this because they're on the side of the coup players. Did a federal grand jury refuse to hand up an indictment of former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe? No media organization reported that this is what happened Thursday, but something clearly happened when the grand jury met, and that something wasn't the McCabe indictment everyone was expecting. McCabe's indictment had been expected on charges related to alleged lies to internal Justice Department investigators about his contacts within the media. On Thursday, September 12th, the New York Times and Washington Post reported that the Deputy Attorney General had rejected McCabe's final appeal within the department to avoid prosecution. According to the Post, McCabe received a communication from the Justice Department informing him that the department rejected your appeal of the United States Attorney's Office decision in this matter. Any further inquiry should be directed to the United States Attorney's Office. The Time writes that the decision was made by Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen and that Rosen's top aide reached out to McCabe's team on the matter. This is the deal. They tried to get indictments on Andrew McCabe. They couldn't get them. The grand jury in this case refused to indict Andrew McCabe. And when that happens, your Justice Department doesn't have any other choice in the matter. You can't bring charges against somebody that a grand jury won't indict on those charges. You just can't do it. So while I'm not giving anyone a pass by any stretch of the imagination, if you look at it like this, it's different. It's not any less infuriating, but it doesn't mean that the Justice Department let him go without trying, okay, on these leaks. You can't hold these smaller charges against somebody in a bigger case if you can't get the smaller charges. So the next thing is the whole Durham investigation. And, we've got half the internet saying this is all BS and half the internet saying there's, don't worry, this is all coming, blah, blah, blah. The thing about the Durham investigation is that the grand jury is not in Washington, D.C., where 200,000 people voted for Hillary Clinton and 12,000 people voted for President Trump. I don't know when or where bigger charges are. I don't work on the team that's doing the investigation into McCabe and Comey and all of that. And I can't give you any information in regards to what they are exactly doing. We're getting leaks. We're getting, who they're questioning. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. What I can talk about is what happened today. And it's depressing. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're hopeful that Durham will deliver indictments. I personally am in the camp that he will. I just have too many people in too many places telling me that that's what's going to happen. So could they all be wrong? Yeah, I guess. But I'm not here to sell anybody any, don't worry. Just watch what's happening. However, it is really infinitely difficult to hold up a General Flynn against an Andrew McCabe and look at what they've done and not be insanely angry about it. So there's that. What I would caution people to do is, think for yourself. In situations like this, there are people that are sent in to demoralize you and make you feel horrible. There are people who genuinely feel like justice won't ever be done. Can you try to filter that out and think for yourself? It's really important. And also, understand that as we go through this process, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, if there isn't some accountability for this, you don't go back to sleep. It's time for people to get engaged and active. It's not time for people to doom cry, throw their hands up in the air, act like little teenage spoiled brats and walk away. Before I go, they did appoint, I guess what you could call a special prosecutor to look into the Flynn case and see what kind of wrongdoing was happening. Barr appointed that person. That floated under the radar today. I was really kind of in a bad mood and just said, usually this would make me happy, but today I'm just not. Attorney General William Barr has assigned an outside prosecutor to scrutinize the criminal case against Michael T. Flynn. So that's happening, which is a really good development, because if they look, they'll find. And when I say engaged, I mean, doing something in terms of protest, like outside of your home. I don't mean, engaged on Twitter, waking people up, or on social media. I mean, like literally, out on the streets. And that's it. That's all I got today. So just think for yourselves, get all the facts, understand what's going on. I had a visceral reaction to this today just because it's just completely unfair. And it's just completely unfair. I mean, justice for me, but not for thee. It's really, really sick what we're experiencing here. It's really sick. And then to have to see this ugly, disgusting shirt. We have to see this crap. Ugh, just hideous inside and out. Just hideous. You know, for McCabe to go on CNN and complain about how he's been tarred and feathered for 2 years after what they've done is just, it makes you seethe with rage. It really does. It says, "I'm done being quiet," is what the shirt says. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I just wanted to break this down best I can. You guys can find me on Patreon, patreon.com/Tracy Beans with a Z. You could find me on Subscribestar at Tracy Beans, paypal.me/Tracy Beans, and make sure to check out Uncover DC for coverage on all of this stuff. Have a good weekend, and I will talk to you guys very soon.